The trade deadline's over, the All-Star break's almost over, and we're officially 55 games into the season, so we can start talking about our finals contenders here. And if you've been subbed to me for a while, you know I absolutely love to talk about teams that can win the finals early and make a prediction, and I have to say my track record is pretty good. And it's not because I'm some GOAT predictor or I watch every single NBA game or anything like that. It's because I simply use historical data and I make sure that the teams I'm picking follow these 3 exact steps in order to win the finals. Step number 1 is the 40-20 rule. You have to win 40 games before you lose 20. If you watched any of my old videos talking about the finals contenders, you know this is the biggest thing for me, and only 3 teams have done it this year, and the last team to win a championship without 40-20ing was the 2006 Miami Heat. It's been 20 years. And no, I'm not counting the 2021 Bucks because there was only 70 games that season. It was coming off a 45-day off season. There was way too much going on for that, so no, this team does not count for that. The next step, step number 2, is going to be the team has to have a top 10 defense and a top 10 offense simultaneously. This is extremely hard to achieve and usually narrows the number of teams down to 2 or 3. And finally, step number 3, the team has to have a top 5 to 10 player that season. Not all time, that season. Now that we're done talking about all of the steps, we can go into the teams this year that have met the criteria and some teams that have not met the criteria that might play spoiler. Team number 1 that has met all of the steps with flying colors is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, you can see their record, 42-14, means they 40-20'd, 3rd in offense, 1st in defense, and also they have a top 5 player in SGA. And I know what you're thinking, case closed, let's just stop the video now. The Thunder are obviously the heavy favorites to win the finals, and yes, I would agree in a sense, but recently they have been showing me that they have lost their hunger, something that they had last year that drove them to win the finals in my opinion. And no, hunger is not one of the steps that I mentioned in historical data in order to win the finals, but in my opinion, it matters more than others would think, and since this is my video, I'm going to add that as a new step. You have to have the hunger. Team number 2 we're going to look at is the San Antonio Spurs, sitting at 38-16. They just have to go 2-3 over their next 5 in order to 40-20, 7th in offense, 7th in defense, and they have that top 5 to 10 player in Victor Wembanyama. Now, looking at the new step I added, the hunger scale. Is this team hungry? Yes, I would say they are very hungry. Are they as hungry as other teams? Maybe not, that's up for debate, but they're definitely more hungry than OKC. But the thing that is really holding me back from putting this team in the S tier is they have little to no playoff experience. So that's hindering them for me. The next team I'm going to talk about is the Boston Celtics, sitting at 35-19. They have to go 5-0 in order to 40-20, but their offense is only 17th, but their defense is 2nd. If they can go on a historic run offensively to end the season, they could end top 10 in both. Do they have the top 5 to 10 player in Jaylen Brown? That is up to debate. Some people would say yes, some people would say no, but I'm just mentioning them because they have a chance to 40-20, but honestly, I don't think that they really have a chance to win the finals, but I'm adding them in here just for the purpose. Now, the team that everybody is currently sleeping on, the Detroit Pistons, completed 40-20, 40-13, top 10 in offense, 3rd in defense, and in my humble opinion, a top 5 to 10 player in Cade Cunningham. Now, to the hunger scale for the Detroit Pistons, are they hungry? Yes. In my opinion, they might be the most hungry team in the league, losing in 6 last year to the New York Knicks in a dogfight, a super close series. Go watch those games if you don't think that series was close. It was super close, really could have gone either way, but now that team has their 1 series of playoff experience against a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I honestly think the Pistons could shock a lot of people this postseason. Now I'm going to bring up another team that I think could play spoiler to the 40-20 rule, and that is the Denver Nuggets, missing majority of their starting lineup the entire season, missing Jokic for 16 games, still the number 1 offense in the league, and yes, they are the 19th defense in the league. That is not good, but I do think they can maybe make that go up through the rest of the season. And yes, the Nuggets don't check 2 of the previous steps we talked about in 40-20 and a top 10 offense and defense, but they check the last step easily. over any other team in the league with the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. Now, the hunger scale for this team is very interesting because, yes, they won a championship in 2023, but that was 3 years ago. I do believe they have regained some of that hunger that they had in 2023, but something that I think actually takes away some of that hunger is Jamal Murray actually being named an All-Star. I feel like if Jamal Murray was not named an All-Star, the hunger would be at an all-time high for him to win another championship, but because he was named an All-Star, I think some of that hunger was actually rescinded. Now, the next team we're going to talk about is the New York Knicks, not 40-20ing, but being 8th in offense, 6th in defense, and you can debate about Jalen Brunson being a top 5 to 10 player. And yes, for the hunger scale for the New York Knicks, I will rank them at one of the top, if not the most hungry team in the league for a championship. And from the historical data steps, they do check 1.5. If you want to count Brunson, that's 2 of the 3 steps, but them not 40-20ing honestly hurts them so much for me. Now, lastly, the last team we are going to mention is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves, not 40-20ing, really not even close, but having the 3rd best offense and the 12th best defense that I think could easily go into the top 10 to end the season, and also having a top 5 to 10 player in Anthony Edwards. And the hunger scale for this team, I'm going to put them right up there next to the Knicks. They are one of the most hungry teams in the league just to reach the finals. Back-to-back conference finals for this team. You know they are hungry for that finals appearance, and once they get there, I feel like anything can happen. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, and we just went over a bunch of different teams that could make/win the finals, but I want to bring it back to the 3 steps plus the hunger step, and I'm going to give you guys the 2026 finals script. The team that I have making out of the Western Conference is going to be, yes, the Denver Nuggets. Yes, they didn't 40-20, and they have the 19th best defense, but with the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, we've seen teams like this before make the finals. The 2024 Mavericks having Luka Doncic, arguably the best player in the world that season. I don't see a world where Jokic only makes it to 1 or 2 finals in his career. I'm not saying he has to win multiple, but I don't see him not making it to at least 3, maybe even 4 finals in his career, and I think this year is one of those years. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why not the Thunder? They 40-20, top 3 in both offense and defense, and they have SGA. And honestly, the reasoning for me is just the hunger and the vibe scale. And I know that sounds super opinionated, but if you've been watching this team post the 24-1 start, they have not looked like the same team that they did starting the season and ending last year in the finals. And I just don't believe in this team right now. Am I saying that they cannot make the finals? Absolutely not. The Thunder can definitely make the finals, but I don't think that they would beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series. They went 7 with them last year with Michael Porter Jr. having a shoulder injury and Aaron Gordon having a grade 2 hamstring strain. That series went 7 games. The Nuggets this season, I think, would get the best of the Thunder. The Spurs are not getting picked to make the finals because simply they don't have enough playoff experience. And yes, we've seen teams like this before that check every single box just like the Spurs, but don't even make the conference finals. For example, the 2024 Thunder checked every single box, were the 1 seed, did not make the conference finals. Am I saying that the Spurs cannot make the conference finals? No, they definitely could make the conference finals, but their range is anywhere from a first-round exit to a conference finals appearance. I just don't see this team with no playoff experience making the finals. Now, that is the Western Conference. Out of the East, I am picking the Detroit Pistons to make the NBA Finals. Yes, the Detroit Pistons. Why am I picking the Pistons to make the finals when there's the Knicks and the Celtics? I'm telling you right now, it's because they are eerily similar to the Thunder the past couple seasons. What did the Thunder do in their first playoff appearance? Well, they beat the Pelicans in the first round in a nice little sweep, and then in the second round, they play the Mavericks, and they lose in 6 games. This was their first playoff appearance. What did they do next season? They won the finals. The Pistons did not have the luxury of playing a team like the Pelicans in the first round of their first playoff appearance. They had to play the Knicks in a super close series. As you can see here, losing game 6 by 3 points, losing game 4 by 1 point, but they showed us that they were meant to be in the playoffs. And where did that Knicks team go? That Knicks team went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And where are the Pistons this season? They are the 1 seed, and they check every single historical data box, including my hunger scale box. Yes, I am seeded for a Pistons Nuggets finals. And a lot of you are saying, if it's Pistons Nuggets finals, I'm taking the Nuggets. They got Jokic, blah, 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 blah. And yes, I see that vision. But the reason why I'm taking the Pistons is because of the historical data box. And yes, I know it's been 20 years and it seems like everything is lining up for the 40-20 rule and all of these rules to be broken this season, but I don't think so. I think the Pistons, because they have every single historical data box checked, if they make the finals against the Nuggets, I think they have the edge. So yes, as of February 18th, 2026, my official finals prediction is the Denver Nuggets versus the Detroit Pistons, and I have the Detroit Pistons coming out on top, winning the NBA Finals. Yes, that is my official prediction as of today, and I know a lot of people are going to hate on this because of the Pistons maybe not being in the biggest team. They're not the most obvious team to win the finals, but I am picking them because of the historical data, the hunger meter, and because of Cade Cunningham. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Watch all of my other videos. I reply to every single comment. Love you all. Goodbye.